last year, but that's not true because I did talk to you yesterday. But we haven't gone live since 2023, man. Holy
Way
crap.
back
Our
when.
audience has gone cold. No one cares. No one's paying attention. And we didn't tell anybody on Sunday that we'd be going live today because I told Susan we weren't. And then you and I decided on our own and we didn't communicate well. And one of my resolutions is to communicate better with my team. So you know it's not going to happen because resolutions don't actually work. It's only a change in habit. So we got lots to talk about, Stu.
Yeah, I always like these. One, kicking off the new year with a on the right foot, and also,
Say I like kicking off the new year on the wrong side of the crib,
yeah,
but
on the right foot. But I also like to talk about your post vacation deep thoughts with Jim,
there you
because
go.
they're always good. I always find that some of my best thinking is just when I'm either sitting alone in nature or um, taking a long ride and just my brain. I think it allows the entrepreneurial brain to be a little more active.
Absolutely, I agree.
And even though it's a vacation, the entrepreneurial brain doesn't stop working. Like
Oh,
that part of my brain doesn't go on vacation.
if anything,
It gets churned up and like I can do this and I can do that and I can do this.
yeah,
Um, but I find it's fun. I
sure,
think that's part of being an entrepreneur is one, if you work from home, you never leave work. But you have to figure out these type of schedules, and sometimes opening up this creative part of your entrepreneurial brain sometimes takes a vacation. Sometimes it
absolutely.
takes you being alone and with your thoughts.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah. So
absolutely.
anyway, that's why I always like to have a quick little post gym cruise discussion whenever you make these um, creative journeys.
I think it's interesting because it's whenever, I mean, you're absolutely right. And welcome, William, everybody who's here on all the various channels, on the YouTubes and the Instagramage and all the other stuff. Just say hi. Let us know you're here. Throw us a question. Are you all ready for the new year? Do you have your resolutions? Do you have your habits? Do you have your schedule? Do you have everything in place? And probably the answer is no, or maybe yes, but then anything rolling still. So, a couple things that you brought up. Every time I go on vacation, this is exactly what happens. Okay. I get to vacation kind of like sliding in, like, holy crap, I've been trying to do like 8,000 things in the week before because I know it's not going to happen. And my team's like, hey, we need this. We're going to need this. We're going to need this. But basically, you just kind of slide in. So then for the first couple of days, I'm like this, you know, all I want to do is just lay there asleep. So then about the third day, I start to wake up and then I'm having fun and I'm doing stuff with Terry. And then by day four, I am bored out of my mind. I'm vacation is like, yay, I'm had enough casino. My workouts, I'm pissed off at everybody in the cruise ship gym because they camp on the machines. By the way, if you camp on machines, those of you who have like you did your little Planet Fitness thing and yeah, exactly. That hold that up, Stu. This is not working out. Sitting on a machine at Planet Fitness, fiddle farting with your phone is not working out. If that's you, you suck as a human being. Okay?
Just stop
So
it.
yeah, just stop. If you're done with the machine, get up, it's called a circuit.
Yeah, go
Okay?
rest on a bicycle. You can look at your stuff on a stationary bike.
Right. Moving
Geez,
the pedals.
yeah,
Moving the pedals.
while moving.
Right.
Yes,
Okay.
don't stop
So
moving.
enough. So by day four, about 72 hours into this thing, Jim is like, wow, how can I take all this amazing energy I have and I've got all these cool ideas firing off in my head? So that's Jim. So on this last trip, I read 4 books. And one of the books I read, which is the workbook for another book I read by a guy named Simon Sinek, it's really good. Find Your Why. And this is the practical guidebook for doing, if you've ever seen his TED talk on why and the golden circle, which we'll just leave that one alone. But the golden circle, everybody, when they talk about why, or what do you do, when people ask you what do you do, people actually tell them what you do. But if you want to suck people in, you tell people why you do what you do, how you do it, and then what you actually do. Everybody leads with what, you need to lead with why. I'll give you an example, because I spent 2 days nonstop going through this and dialing in my why. Would you like me to share it with you, Stu?
Sure.
Okay, I will in just a minute. So the other book that I read that was really good was Arnold Schwarzenegger's book, Be Useful. Let me grab it. It's a real easy read and it's a lot of fun. Had some really great stories in it. And so this is a really good book, Be Useful, 7 Tools for Life. I posted about it on social media and somebody said, yeah, they lost all respect for Arnold when he said, screw your rights or whatever. He's talking about the COVID jab. It's 2024. Okay.
Time to get over it.
Time to get over anything that happened related to COVID. Okay. Everybody had their little insanity moment. You either got the jab, you didn't get the jab, you got some jabs, you got a half a jab. Okay.
Did we learn something from it?
We learned a bunch of stuff from it, but we can't
Yes.
talk about here because there'll be a warning on our
Yes.
Facebook. And I'll probably I'm just out of jail. Okay. I don't need to violate probation in the freaking parking lot of the jail. Okay. So
Yeah,
I'm
that'd be
just saying,
normal for you.
what?
That'd be normal for you.
Right. So just get, it's like, hey, let's smoke crack in the jail parking lot just to get thrown right back in. So the third book that I read is called Evil Plans, Having Fun on the Road to World Domination. It's actually out of print, but it's really good. It was a gift from a friend. And then I read a history book on a history of conflicts and other stuff in the Middle East. So back to the why. When people ask, what do you do? Oh, we create AI tools to help people write better copy and content. It's like better copy, better content, better results. Stop using robots, start using genies. And it's like, if you know who I am and why I'm doing what I'm doing, that makes perfect sense to you. But most people don't know who you are or what you're doing or why you're doing it, and actually sound the same as everybody else. So I spent a bunch of time on this. I'm going to share my why with you in just a second. But I'm going to ask you, Stu, these 3 books, very, very different books, okay? One's by a dude teaching you about your why. Another
Philosopher.
one, this guy's a cartoonist who is a blogger. He's one of the first really big mega bloggers. And then this is, Arnold, dude. What do you say about Arnold? Okay.
He's Arnold.
What do all 3 of these books have in common, Stu? What do you think? Besides a title and, what do you think all these books have in common that make each one of them unique and an easy read and just a lot of fun?
They're done.
Yeah, no crap. They're done. Okay.
The fact that they finished their book, I'm impressed.
Sure. What do you think each one of them have in them? Not words.
Positive attitude. I'm not sure where you're going with this, Jim. Be honest with you.
No. Okay. Well, I'm going to lead you to it. What have we been saying and really harping on, especially since the advent of AI? And what's the thing we need to do with any AI content that we come up with? We need to put our
soul into it.
Right.
Put our soul into it.
And what does the S in soul stand for?
Oh man. Why'd
Jesus,
you do
I thought you wrote this stuff down.
I wrote this down.
Okay.
Not
Stories.
Stories. Oh, my bad. Yes, dude, I knew that. I knew that.
every single one of these books, and the reason why I could get through them so fast was because each one of them is masterful at the use of stories. And in particular, believe it or not, this one, because it teaches you how your stories, especially stories that you tell yourself about yourself when you were really young, guides you to your why when you're a grown up. I was like, and it was funny because as I was reading this, and you know what my internal voice is, you've known me long enough now to be like, yeah, BS, 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 BS. Well, I might have a point. And then you can see the point where I'm like, okay, it's not BSS because I start writing in every freaking, I just start filling up the book with notes. And then I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, I should probably do this. And so then I'm like filling everything out and really sitting there and doing it. Now, what also helped on the cruise ship, they had Starbucks and I had the unlimited drink package. I called it the Super Soaker. Now, the reason that I had to have the Super Soaker is that I don't really drink, though I had picked up a little bit of a Malbec habit, I will admit, Stu, a little bit of the Malbec. But Terry is my professional drinker, but they won't let her have a Super Soaker pass without me having one. But they've got Starbucks. So I'm down there getting the Starbucks, and by the second day, they see me coming. They're like, oh, half calf venti Americano, Sir James. I'm like, oh, yes, thank you. So I'm well caffeinated and sitting here filling this stuff out. But what they tell you, and I thought it was BS until I went through it, is that if you look back at yourself when you were a little kid, what are the things that got you excited? What are the things that really just like you got into that magical dimension of time and space had no meaning. You were like living in pure joy and bliss and really just living on purpose. Like you could do this forever. And it was interesting because I was sitting there reading this book and it hit me because I'm like, okay, this is, I don't want to say bullshit because you're not supposed to, but I'm thinking I don't see the link. Like how did Jim Edwards making AI tools now, what does that have to do with anything I was doing when I was 2 or 4 or 6 or 8 or anything like that? I mean, if you think about it, what the heck? So, but I just sat there, had my little venti latte, and I'm like, okay, well, what are some early things that I remember that were interesting? So my mom tells me that when I was 2, I would take everything apart. Like I was taking apart clocks and then trying to put them back together. I couldn't do it, but I was taking them apart. When I was 4, and I remember this, my mom, and I was 4 in 1971. So my mom and dad gave me a little transistor radio, like a little one like this big, which was not an insignificant, expensive gift. Transistor radios back in 1971 were not necessarily cheap. So I listened to it a couple times, and then I proceeded to go down into the basement, get my dad's pliers, pull this thing apart, and rip the thing apart to shreds into little tiny pieces to see how it worked. My dad was flipping out like he was going to spank me. And my mom said, and I remember my mom saying, hey, it's his. He can do whatever he wants with it. And so all through my life, and I remember when I was a little kid, we would, my sister and I would take things that weren't necessarily related and try and make stuff out of them, but like make something useful out of them. So my sister and I had a secondhand trike, which we broke. Don't ask me how we broke the tricycle, but we did. So then I found this, I guess it was a 2x8, probably 6 feet long. And I took that thing, took the tricycle apart, drilled holes, basically turned this thing into a 6-foot long tricycle and got all my buddies from the neighborhood riding on it like something off the Little Rascals. So, just carrying it forward in school, I loved doing things like sentence diagramming and just became fascinated with patterns. and with how things worked and how I could put them together in different ways to get a different result. And so if you think about now, what are we doing with AI? What are we doing with what was I doing with funnel scripts and easy online wizards and all the things that came before copying content.ai? It was figuring out how to get the parts out of people's brains and put them into something to make something useful for the people. And so my pattern has always been to see how something works. Like look at the result, break it down into component parts, figure out the process, and then figure out how to gather those parts together to use the process to create the result. You see what I mean? So to create that thing.
Yeah.
So it actually makes perfect sense that that's the kind of thing, like I was doing it right before we got on here. I want to show you what I did. It's really cool with creating stories. I got a new genie. I haven't released it yet, but I'll let you play with it, Stu.
Fun.
But that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. That's why I turn into a 5-year-old figuring this stuff out. And then what I also figured out was when I was little, I loved to be on stage. So it wasn't just let me make the thing, but it's like, hey, let me show you this thing I made. It's amazing. You want to try it? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? You know, I was in like, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? So, I mean, it just makes perfect sense that here we are.
I like that.
So that's why I do what I do. So would you like me to share the why and the stuff that I came up with as a result of reading the book? I mean, I've teased you like 5 times with it.
Well, of course. But I'm also interested in just what was that moment like? Did you have one of those aha moments? That's it? Or were
When?
you like, oh, of course, that's me?
What?
Like when you read that for the first time about the why, and you're like, oh yeah, that's me. Did it like have a deep resonating feel to it?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
Not
I'm curious.
no. But when it really hit was when later in the book they tell you to start coming up with a whole bunch of stories and look for commonality. So then I I started creating this whole like timeline of my life of
Okay.
various stories and stuff. And I see the pattern over and over and over and over again to sometimes some elements more um emphasized than others, like maybe not those 3 elements of figuring it out and then figuring out how to make it useful and then wanting to show it to people. Sometimes it was like just wanting to learn how to show and share and tell, or other times figuring stuff out. It's so those 3 elements of figuring it out, getting the process together, and then sharing it. That's that kind of sometimes it was just I mean, you might wonder how did my background in theater have to do with this? But actually, it was learning how to get in front of a whole bunch of people and share some ideas and not be attached to the outcome of do they like me or not? Like eliminating that,
Yeah.
or I'll just learning.
I love
So,
it.
but once I did that, I was like, holy crap! I mean, that's the process. That's me. And then I was like, so like my method for the genies, clearly define the end result that you want to create, clearly identify the parts you need to assemble the result, clearly identify the process to create, gather, and make the parts, and then create the genies, the training, and the tools, and then verify that it makes what you want. And most importantly, it works for people with no or low experience. That's, I mean, that was like, that was a holy crap. Like
Yeah.
that's the internal process that's been cooking. And then it's like, whoa, that was on my third venti that I'm only supposed to have 2. That was about the third one. Terry, don't tell Terry about the third one. She's probably watching this. But that's that's the big thing. So, okay, you ready?
Yes.
So this is the why we do what we do. If there's a whole different perspective on stuff. So we help entrepreneurial professionals profitably promote their gifts and wisdom to the world so they can meaningfully impact the lives of the people they are called to serve. That's why we do what we do. Notice I didn't mention AI at all. I didn't mention anything about software or anything. The why we do it. We help entrepreneurial professionals profitably promote their gifts and wisdom to the world so they can meaningfully impact the lives of the people they are called to serve. Now, how do we do that? Well, we respect everyone's journey where they are now. I need to work on that. Sometimes I can be a little kind of a douche. Learn, share, teach what works, which is sharing our gifts. Innovate playfully, internally and externally. Most of the great genies have come from playing around with something like, I don't know what the hell's going to happen, but let's do it. Let's see if we can make it do it. And then once we make it do it, then I act all, yeah, I knew it would do that. Be open and honest with yourself, team, and customers. Maximize today's tools. This has always been a big theme with me too. Do everything you can with what you have where you are right now today. Don't wait, because you can always wait for something else. Watch the horizon for changes big and small. I still have not talked anything about AI tools or anything like that, but now internally I'm like, yeah, that's what we do. So what we do is we create and provide insanely effective and fun AI tools specifically for sales, copy, and content marketing that tailors everything to your specific audience with your unique voice and style. We help people who typically don't market or sell to sell smoothly and easily, and we train and support our customers in world-class style. So that's the why, the how, and the what.
I love it.
Yeah, so that's good stuff, right?
Yeah. Well, that was
Why do you do what you do, Stu?
that was a revelation.
Well, that really was. That was
Yeah.
one that I wanted to come home and share with the team, and I'm texting them pictures of my notebook and stuff, and they're like, "What the hell? Leave us alone." Um, what's your why, Stu? Just off the cuff, why do you do what you do?
Well, I I help young people, old people, whatever, reach their fitness dreams, but at the same time also apply that to more of a tactical fitness profession, where one day fitness may be the difference between life and death. So
Or
it is,
serious injury.
or serious injury. So I try to teach people that that is how serious we need to take our fitness and health, especially if you're doing one of these jobs. But if you're not doing one of these tactical jobs, do you want to be an asset or a liability? Like, do you need to be rescued in a certain situation? Or
Right.
can you rescue yourself? Can you rescue others around you? Those are important questions that I try to help people with, um, to determine where they are on that spectrum and help them get off of that side of the spectrum that is going to. But yes, I could probably verbalize that a little better, be a
No,
little
I
more
mean
concisely with it. But
that's
yeah,
fine.
that's kind of what I do and why I do it.
There are
You know,
team exercises in here, Stu. This is how you can have a team help you do that.
yeah,
So from what I know about you from your youth, you've always been into sports. You've always been physically active. You were practicing to be a frogman as a long-haired, bowl-cut kid in the panhandle of Florida, jumping into the pool. But fitness has always been important to you, but also helping others has always been important to you, a spirit of service and helping others to learn how to protect others.
yeah,
So that you can look at that whole thing of, your why is to help anyone, but in particular those in the tactical professions, to maintain a level of fitness that enables them to protect themselves and others and to keep people safe.
yeah. There you go.
Okay. So, I mean,
That's you said
something
you
like
said it much
that.
better than I did.
Well, thank God we have a replay. But
Yeah.
so how do you do that? again, this is where it's really interesting distinction.
Yeah.
How is different than what? So what you do is send out workouts. What you do is make workout videos. What you do is write books. But that's not how you actually do it. How you do it is by doing it and teaching people what you learn and from the distinctions you make by actually doing it and doing it with people in your target audience.
Yes.
So you sum that up very well when people ask you what you do or how, but that's not what you do, but how you do it. Actually sum up when you say, I work out and write about it for a living.
Yes.
Okay, that's a great summary of how
Yeah.
you do it.
Well, thank you. Because that's what I
Um,
say just about 99% of the time. And then I explain it in a little more detail when people say, oh, what do you mean by that?
well,
Yeah.
and the interesting thing is the Guy Harvey's studio, the famous artist, Guy Harvey, whom Terry and I are quite friendly with. It's easy to be friendly with somebody though if you buy original artwork from him. At those prices. He's
Yeah.
good. He's a good dude though. We met his daughter this time. Just they're doing really good work taking care of the world's oceans and other stuff like that. Great guy. And they finally asked me, "Hey, what do you do?" And I had just gone through this whole thing, okay? And
Oh,
I'm
okay.
and I'm like, "Crap. I don't have it memorized." But basically what I told them when they said, "What do you do?" I didn't tell them what I did. I told them why we do what we do. And I basically said that we help entrepreneurial professionals share their, or see, I can't say it the way I said it to them, but we help entrepreneurial professionals profitably promote their gifts and wisdom to the world so that they can impact the lives of the people that they're called to serve.
Oh,
And
love that.
they were like, oh, they both, their eyes went, boom. How do you do that? So they asked me, what do you do? I told them why I did it. And they were like, how do you do that? And that's where I was like, well, I've written some books and done some other stuff. And his daughter's like got her phone out and she's looking up copywriting secrets on Amazon. She's like, oh, well, let me order that right now. And it it worked. And so that was when I was like, okay, I really need to dial this in and pay attention to this. Because somebody
That
who's got
is,
an international multi-million dollar business, has a foundation, has buildings named after him and stuff. If he'll stand there after one sentence and go, how do you do that? um,
yeah, that's a
so,
good point. I definitely need to dial mine in a little better. So I like that. That's good.
so quiet time is where good stuff comes from. If you don't have any quiet time built into your life, you're screwed. Which brings us to something that I wanted to talk about too, schedule. If you want to do something different this year, you better look at your schedule. Because if there aren't actions, if there aren't causes set in motion in that schedule, it ain't happening.
Yep. If it's not in the schedule,
It
it doesn't
doesn't
exist.
exist. That's right. That's a Stewanism. That's a Stoofanism.
I
A
can't remember where I heard
Stoofanism.
that from. I can't say I made that up, but I heard that somewhere a long time ago, probably 30 years ago.
That's a
So
stew
might be in the
euphemism.
military. I heard it.
Yeah, that's a Stoofanism.
Yeah.
That's like they have Jimisms and Stoofanisms. So, Stu, what
Yeah.
is your schedule? Tell me what your schedule is before you get to work, not when you sit down and start getting to work, but tell me what your morning looks like. Because I can tell you, if you tell me what your morning looks like, I'm going to tell you what your day and your week and your month and your year and your destiny look like.
All right. I get up and
What time?
5:15
Okay.
and just do your normal wake up
Poop and
things.
coffee.
Yeah, you
Parker
do that.
poop, Parker poop, and
Yeah.
Java.
Let the dog out. Yeah, I don't drink coffee, so I drink iced tea. So I'll get a little tea, a little bit of water, maybe a banana, and then at 6 a.m. I am working out,
Okay.
ready to go, and I'll do that until about 8 o'clock,
Okay.
and after that I'm at work.
Okay. So after a
About by
shower,
8:30, by 8:30 I'm working.
okay. So, and how long have you been doing this schedule?
I can't remember when I wasn't doing it.
So all the way
Yeah,
back to college.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I've been working out before school, before breakfast since high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You think it's working for you?
Yes.
Are you overweight?
No.
Do you have bad blood work when as a doctor telling you to take fish oil and warning you about A1C and all that stuff?
No.
Do you have a relatively successful business?
Yeah.
Happy family life?
It works.
Well balanced spiritually?
Yes.
Okay. Are you I'm not going to okay. Financially doing okay, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Everything's kind of working. If you were sleeping until 8 o'clock in the morning, were 50 pounds overweight, had bad blood work, and all that other stuff, how do you think the rest of your life would be looking?
I don't know, man. I I can't imagine one, letting that happen
Right.
out of my control. But I would say that I don't think it would be as productive as I normally am. Like, by noon, I've got most of my stuff done, and everything in the afternoon is um, planning and updating and admin stuff and, all the general parts of the work. But
Right.
yeah, by noon, I'm done being creative.
Would you say that your identity is tied to what you do in the morning?
Absolutely.
I would say not just your identity, but your livelihood and everything is tied to what you do in the morning.
Yeah.
I can see you when you're 80 years old, you're going to be out there still moving around. You'll have a bullhorn, hopefully a bigger one than you do in that
Yeah.
little picture where it looks like a party favor.
I got a nice one. I got a new one.
Oh, okay.
Check it out. The boys gave it to me.
Nice.
They even signed it.
I like it. I
Signed it.
like
Yeah.
that a lot. That's a good one. Okay.
Test. Nope.
You got a big boy one.
Got to put the batteries in.
So here's the thing. So one of the things I will admit, because this is actually the Jim and Stu show, copying content.ai report is actually Jim's personal therapy session normally. Okay. So what I have noticed is that my morning routine has gone to crap. It used to be locked in. And then over the last year, it's gone to crap because I got out of balance, a lot more stuff, worrying about the business, trying to get them. If you think about what we've accomplished with this,
Whew.
with the size team that we have, and how hard Susan and Nancy and programmer and everybody's been working and stuff. I mean, just so everything kind of, the morning routine was not locked in.
Yeah.
And I noticed it was having an effect on me. I wasn't working out quite as intensely as I have, wasn't locked in when I get to work, things sliding a little bit as far as, just not where I wanted to be. And so I made a decision that I was going to develop a new habit. And that new habit was going to be taking control of my morning. So I'm actually working with a coach. I've got a coach that I'm actually coaching. It's funny, we're kind of like coaching each other. But here's the new routine: wake up at 4:30. Had been getting up around 6. Ooh, not good. Okay, and then I was playing video games in the morning. Then you know that I've pretty much gone to crap if Jim's playing video games in the morning. Okay, Susan knows that. Video games are for the weekends, maybe. So 4:30, wake up, dogs out. By 4:50, I have black coffee. I was putting too much fruit crap in my coffee, Stu. Fruit crap in your coffee actually adds weight. That's how you put on
yeah.
weight. Putting the fruits in there, you get some extra calories you don't need there, Tubby.
A lot of calories.
So black coffee, I'm drinking, taking care of the morning thing. Okay. Big change. Big change right off the bat. 4:30 getting up, hook or crook. No phone. That phone was poison in my mind first thing in the morning. Poison in my mind. I grabbed the phone and I'm looking at the phone on the elevator, taking the dogs downstairs to go out. No phone. Poison in my mind. Getting in a bad mood. Don't know why. I'll tell you why you get in a bad mood. Looking at the phone. You want to get in a bad mood? Look at Facebook and you'll feel bad about yourself. Look at Google News and you'll feel bad about the world.
Or you're just wasting time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what I was doing was waking up late, and then I'd sit on the can for an hour with my legs going to sleep, drinking a big frou-frou coffee, looking at the phone. And then I'd wander over to the gym. So now what I'm doing is 4:30 up, take care of the dogs, do the thing, black coffee. By 5:15, I am meditating again. All I'm shooting for right now is just 15 minutes of meditation. What am I meditating on? Whatever the hell comes to mind right now. I'm trying to clear out all the headspace stuff. What's the stuff that's bugging me? But what I'm really trying to focus on is visualizing the perfect version of myself and the perfect version of my business and perfect version of interacting with my team. Like visualizing myself being the best I can be for the entire day. That's what I'm trying to focus on. But it's interesting if you've ever meditated, Stu. Have you ever meditated? I'm sure you have. Visualized?
Yeah, I call it meditating, but my wife tells me I was snoring. So
Okay.
it usually falls into a nap.
That's okay. Tell her your subconscious is working overtime.
Right.
Okay, so meditating, and then by 5:45, I'm headed towards the gym. That's my new commitment. Now this morning, and I'm going to text Stu a picture of my ass heading towards the gym every morning because he texts me a picture like get up, get moving, and all that. So I'm like, I'm up, I'm moving. So this morning, I think I sent you one. It was like 5:59 or something. I mean, I was moving. Okay.
Low freezing out there.
That's right. And then, Stu said he's out there and it's cold. So what do? I send him a picture of my wood stove fired up inside the gym and he's outside working out. I'm inside working out with the wood stove going. So working out until, let's say 8:00, shower, and then rest of my day. I'm not even worried about this because I know what to do here. I got that stuff locked in. What I didn't have locked in was this. Now, have I done all of this stuff before? Yes. Have I been doing it consistently lately? No. And that's the big thing about habit, because you're not going to take action unless it's a habit, but you still gotta stand guard at your mind in life to maintain the habit. Because you can lock the habit in, but it can get unlocked.
Absolutely.
And that's where Stu's big thing with discipline. Okay. But that's what I posted a 3-line thing on Facebook, or a 3-word thing. Discipline is freedom. That's my theme for 2024. Discipline is freedom.
Is that Jocko?
I have no
Jocko. Yeah, I think Jocko says that. Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
He may have. I was going to claim it. That's okay. I can still run with it.
No, he goes, freedom is discipline, or I can't remember.
It doesn't matter. Discipline is freedom.
It absolutely is.
So this is my commitment. And I told Terry this morning, I've got, one of the things I started doing yesterday with the meditation is when you meditate, you'll have ideas and stuff come into your life. I mean, into your life, but also into your mind. And if you open your eyes, it's like all the beta, theta, all the waves and stuff that are going on, they get interrupted. So what I'm doing is I've got a pen, I've got an open journal. I date before I start the meditation session, I date the page, and then I will write on the page without opening my eyes to capture the idea so that I can release it, so I can keep that flow going. And you know what's scary as crap, Stu?
What's that?
My handwriting with my eyes closed is amazing compared to my handwriting when my freaking eyes are open.
Wow.
It's like super neat. It's scary. That's an aside.
I like it.
Um, so anyway, this is my deal. This is what I'm committing to do. This is not a resolution. This is my commitment for the entire year of 2024. I am going to do this every single day, 7 days a week, except for Sunday. I'm going to, that's my rest day from the gym. But every other day, I'm getting up. Now, on Sundays, I may not get up at 4:30. Okay, because Terry will smack me in the mouth and tell me
Yeah.
to stay in bed and quit waking her up. But this is the habit that's going to drive everything else. So, really need to think about your morning. Think about the habits, the base level habits you have that are setting the stage every day, that are driving your morning, that are driving your day, that are driving your week, that are driving your month, that'll drive your year. Anyway, you had asked about, those are the things that I thought about while I was on vacation. The morning and the habits and all that stuff. What would you like to add to that, Stu?
Um, let me kind of encapsulate something that occurs this year often with many people. Right
Mm-hmm.
now, a lot of people are motivated because they have this idea of like, I want to do this, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's a good time of year to do it. First day, first month, new year, new you, all of that. Call
Mm-hmm.
it a resolution, call it a goal, whatever that is. Everybody's motivated right now to do that. So my advice is to take this motivation that is fleeting, right? People don't rely on this motivation, but use it right now to start building a habit. And that can be a time habit, just like Jim just showed up. That's what I tend to do is makes a block of time a new habit. And now you've done that, you made it a habit, and then one day that motivation is not going to be there. You're not going to feel like doing something and getting up and going to do it. So, but you do it anyway. That is when the habit has evolved into discipline. And then you can even take that another notch higher, and that discipline evolves into mental toughness. Now you're locked in, and that habit is hard to break once you get to that level. And it might take a couple of months of you doing things that you don't feel like doing, but you do it anyway. But that's the evolution of how this all works for you, not only just to create a good healthy habit, but to really create a lifestyle change that is going to be beneficial for you for years to come.
I couldn't agree more.
Yes.
But so time habit becomes discipline, becomes mental toughness, and that's when you need to stay vigilant. Because when you stop thinking about it and you start taking it for granted, is when you can really fall off track. So there are things that you can do mentally, physically, socially. You know, one of the reasons why you get up and do what you do also is because you have other people waiting for you.
Yeah, that is helpful.
It's not the only reason, but sometimes it's there's got to have been at least one morning in the last 30 years that you got up out of that bed because you knew there were people waiting for you.
Jim, that's once a week. I won't lie. You got that inner voice in there that says, just stay in bed. You're really comfortable right now. You don't feel like getting up, but you get up
It's
anyway. You know what I like to do when I have that inner voice telling me not to do it? I almost get pissed at myself because that happened and I
yeah,
go do it anyway. Right?
right.
You have to turn it around. Otherwise, it takes you down the path of breaking that habit if you let it happen too many times.
Yes. And then you have the thing where you kind of fall and it it's weird.
Yeah.
So
You get
one thing,
good at what you do.
right.
You know, if you sit like this in a chair all day, you're going to get good at leaning to the left and
Yeah.
not be able to walk straight. You
Well,
know.
a-
Yep.
absolutely. And so one of the things that I have learned though is that if you start going off track, one of the things that happens is you're like, oh, you think of how hard it's going to be to get back to the very top of where you were.
Yeah.
Where most of the time it's like that old thing, and you tell me this all the time, when I get in that weird place, and you're like, it's dude, you haven't lost the ability to do a pull-up.
Mhm.
Okay. It's only going to take you about a week to get back in the swing.
Yeah.
And that first workout back starts with one push-up. Like if you just get down and do one push-up, like you're okay, I'm doing it. Okay. I'm doing it. Now
You,
this
you said
isn't it.
something really good. You said something really good this morning in a text after you were done. It's like, that first mile, when you're walking or jogging. I mean, my
Yeah.
body yells at me for that whole entire mile.
Yeah.
And it might even take me 10 minutes to get it done because I
Yeah.
stop and I stretch and, I just got to give it 10 minutes. And if you just give it 10 minutes, you're in,
Yeah.
you know?
The text
Yeah.
that I sent Stu was, isn't it funny how that first mile run feels like the end of the world, but then after a mile you loosen up and everything flows.
Yeah.
And I texted you that after I was back in the warm garage. But you just got to get in, and it's never as bad as it seems, and it's never as good as it seems. And I think next week I want to go. I watched a movie while I was on. I also watched like 10 freaking movies while I was on the cruise. But I watched a movie called A Million Miles Away. Have you seen it?
No.
I'll tell you another movie you need to watch is Strays, but that's a whole nother. Woo! Woo! Wow.
Okay.
Not to be watched with children, but should be watched with childlike glee and a beer. Strays is awesome, but A Million Miles Away is amazing. I cried. I will say I
Ah.
cried. I cried in the movie. Um, and he gives a formula, a recipe that his dad gave him. And if you don't know the story, he this is a gentleman who became an astronaut who started out life as a child migrant farm worker
Oh,
from
I did.
Mexico.
I did see that.
Okay.
Yes, I saw that. That was really good. Became an engineer. Yeah,
Yeah.
impressive.
And reveals a formula that is similar to the 5 steps to getting anything you want, but it's a different, it's got different elements and stuff. I'd love for us to talk about that next time. So when I forget what we want to talk about next time, that's what I want to talk about next time.
I love it.
Um, and I guess we're not really going to get to the 6 C's story, Genie, but
Let's
that's
save
okay.
that one. Let's
We'll
save
save
that
that
one
one
for
for
next
next
week
time.
because I think that deserves its own show.
Sure. Or maybe we'll do something separate. I don't know.
Yeah.
Quick question, those of you that are here live, if we did something like called the Copy and Content Lab, like where we just jumped in. So it would be kind of those of you who belong to Copy and Content.ai, we do something called Genie hacking, where we show you all the different ways to use a Genie that I didn't intend, usually with Stu screwing around and not reading directions and then does something amazing, or somebody on the team does stuff, or that's a separate show. But I'm wondering if we just did a show where we shed, okay, you want to get this result, you have like a little 5-year-old Jim in it. So, this is the result you want. Oh, okay, here, I'll show you how to do that. And then, but instead of just stopping at the output of the Genie, if we showed you how to actually turn it into a video, or if we showed you how to actually post it on the website or to your blog, or how to actually set up the opt-in page, or how to actually set up the sales letter, or how to actually draft or format the email, or how to, so it's like we stop with the Genie, but everybody's like, okay, that sounds cool, but then what do I do with it? So what do you do in a lab? You get in, you put on your little lab coat, you got the teacher up at the front or the lab assistant and all that stuff, and then you do it, but you do it all the way. Now, if that would be of interest to you, let us know in the comments, because if nobody says, hey, I think that'd be cool, then there's no reason for us to do it. But if I have these ideas, but if that's something that and I'm thinking it would be like a 20-minute show, because when we're talking about getting stuff done, you don't need a week to do the stuff that we're doing. Okay. I mean,
True.
this is with the tools we got now. It's get in, get out, get it done. I totally digressed. What the hell were we talking about?
Well, we were talking about setting up, habits and New
Oh yeah.
Year's and stuff like that. But
Okay.
I think this is just kind of talking about the next shows and the next few
Right.
weeks about
Okay.
how we do this.
Yeah. Or
Something I
it'll be
did
a
the other
separate
day,
show.
Jim.
Mhm.
Something I did the other day with the blog post genie, super
Mhm.
blog post genie is I put in 3 steps, and these were the 3 steps I wanted to coach, and then I basically asked it to just create, an article behind these 3 steps.
Mhm.
And then I got a great title. You want to hear what the title was? And,
Absolutely.
this is one that I'm teaching someone how to swim, right?
Mhm.
Military fitness test. So, from land to sea, how to conquer the military water tests as a non-swimming athlete. So that was the title that it gave me, and I said, the subtitle's 3 steps to crushing any military swim test, and it just breaks it down into these 3 steps, and yeah, I was real happy with that one.
I
It
think
was
it's
all my writing, and it just added a little section there that I was able to edit real quick, throw in some pictures, and boom, it was really cool.
oh, so you threw your soul into it. So you
Yeah.
took it and then that I did a little edit real quick. I know what your edits are like. And so you did a little edit real quick and then threw in some pictures and I bet you threw in some references and some
Oh,
keywords
absolutely.
and some other
Links.
stuff and turned it
Yes.
into this whole little Stu Smith magnet of profits.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. I bet everybody would love to watch us actually do that one day. Hey, let's write an article, post the article, put it into your blog, and do it all in less than 20 minutes.
Oh, easy. Easy
Yeah,
day.
that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
would anybody like to see that? Like actually see it done?
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking. And Susan's been here the whole time. She's like, I don't know why the hell y'all had me in here because you haven't asked me a dang thing. Hi,
You
Susan.
keep acting like I haven't put the people haven't responded that they would like to see it. Are you not looking at the comments?
I'm a little slow. I think some
Yes.
of them are okay. Vicky Trancho says, I love that concept. Okay.
Hmm.
Sorry.
That's okay.
You told me not to look at the concept, not to look at the
I love it.
comments because it
Lab workshop.
distracts me.
Lab
No,
workshop.
I
People
know how
want
to
to see it.
throw me under the bus.
Should
That's
we
what
get
you said, that you weren't going to look at the comments because it distracts you.
but you agreed with me,
Uh,
so I turned it into your idea.
Jim,
It's always
What?
about you.
you need, when we do the copy and content .ai labs,
Yeah.
you have to wear a lab coat.
You have to too.
Okay.
I mean, if we're gonna do it, we got to get lab coats and all that good
Ooh.
stuff.
We need
What?
to have, like, on lab coats, you usually like to have the name of the MD you're seeing. You need
Yeah.
to have a patch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sweet. Oh, I'm all
Absolutely.
over that.
Yeah. Trust me, I'm a doctor. And I got my doctorate from a strip mall university. Okay, we'll get us one of them strip mall PhDs. Hey, and if you got your PhD from a strip mall and that offends you, get over yourself because
You got
sorry,
yours from Fairfield and Richmond.
who me?
Haven't heard
Fairfield
of.
Mall?
Yeah.
Nice. That's a big strip mall though, right? That's much more legit.
Oh, it's long gone. They tore it down.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, that we'll have to go somewhere else. Anyway, Fairfield Strip Mall University. All right.
Mall of
So
America.
FSMU, Fairfield Strip Mall University. All right, let's get off that before we piss everybody off. That's all I got, Stu. I mean, I think the big thing is if you want to change your life this year, pay careful attention to how you're setting up every single day because how you set up the day is going to dictate, set up the morning is going to dictate how the day goes. How the day goes is going to dictate the week, the month, the year. Pick 1 or 2 habits that will cascade in a great way. That's my big takeaway. How about you?
I like
Susan?
it. I like it.
Okay.
That works well.
Susan, what are your big takeaways? What would be your parting advice to everybody besides don't ask for tech advice in the Facebook comments?
I mean, I agree with you on how you do your morning sets up the rest of your day. It really does.
Yeah. Cool.
It's
All right.
momentum. You got to have
All
some
right.
momentum in the morning.
That's right. Absolutely. Okay, guys. Well, we appreciate you. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back with our regularly scheduled programming next week. Just means we'll have more of a plan instead of free forming it. But this was really good and it was great catching up with everybody. Hope you make this an amazing year. We've got some really, really, really cool stuff coming for copyingcontent.ai. We've got Susan is killing herself on the redo of the internal site. We're going to be shifting some things over. It's amazing. We're actually redoing the whole funnel. I re-recorded the VSL today. Got some cool stuff. Looks like we'll probably be testing out this copyingcontent.ai lab.
It's gonna have
And
search.
well, yeah, it's going to have search and organization and be like grown-ups running this thing. So I'm super excited by a lot of this stuff. So lots of great things happening. Appreciate all of you. Great job, Stu. Great job, Susan. Great job. We'll talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye, everybody.